she's a phenomenal person. And I am so very honored to not only, call her a fellow woman in business, but also a friend. Hey, Miss Toya, how are you? Oh, unmute yourself for me.
I'm good today, Candace. How are you today?
I am absolutely perfect. I said, okay, you know what? She has so much greatness. I want her to introduce herself to the listeners tonight. So, you know what? I'm going to pull you up on a screen by yourself, and I want you to tell everyone about you. And then we're going to get into your greatness.
Okay, my name is Toya Sanders, and I am the owner of Beautiful Creations by Toy. I make one-of-a-kind art pieces. I am also a podcast host. I am the host of Speaking of Love, the podcast, and I also am a legal professional by day. I am a suicide awareness advocate, and I'm just a Southern girl with city dreams.
Yes! Love it. I love it. I love it.
Even though I'm in the city, we all have that Southern background because of our ancestry. So I'm from the city, but I'm all Southern, let me tell you.
I love it. Toya is downplaying it. She is a very talented artist as well. I'm gonna toot her horn. Okay. She's an amazing artist. She makes things that are beautiful and with love. And I love the fact that, for Latoya, I love the fact that your company is all built around showing love and how to have people express their love in different ways. Tell us about some of the great products that you sell.
Okay, well, I make one-of-a-kind art pieces, and I brought a few pieces to show you all. So this here is considered to be glass art. This is a lady wearing a pair of stiletto sandals, and the sandals are embedded with real pieces of shattered glass. And I made this piece 100% from scratch. This is one of my art pieces that I make. I also specialize in making one-of-a-kind door hangers made from plywood. So this lady here, as you can see,
yeah,
piece of artwork. Yes, this is one of my sweet pieces. And as you can see on the back, it's just all it is a piece of plywood. And I use a jigsaw. I carve out my image. And then after the image has been carved out, I will paint the details of the image. So that's what I do. I also make one-of-a-kind Fox desserts. So if you look behind me, you'll see like a cupcake. You'll see pieces of cherry pie. I've got a few ice cream sundaes. Those are some of the other creations that I make and I specialize in as well.
See what I'm talking about, guys? Greatness. But this is the thing. I had the great honor of being a guest on her podcast. And let me show you some great artwork that she sent me. When she was talking about desserts, let me show you a great piece.
Aww.
Yes.
Candace, that's my signature piece, the hot fudge sundae. And I sent that to you, especially for you.
And I love it. And the thing about it is, it puts a smile on my face every day when I see it here in my office. It really does. And I love it. I was just like, every time I see it, I say, yeah, I think I want some ice cream.
Well, that makes me feel good to know that you like it.
Yes. So tell the people that are watching why you got into art in the first place. Why did you get into art?
Well, I used to work as a school administrator, and I worked with a lot of teachers, and the teachers were always so very stressed. They were overworked. There were a lot of kids in the classroom, and I wanted to find a way to bring joy and happiness to our teachers. So what I would do is I would go home on the weekends, and I would make a special gift like what you just saw. I would make a special gift, and I would pick 3 random teachers, and then on Monday when I went to work, I would present those 3 teachers with their special gift. gift. So it just grew into a love mission. And by the end of the school year, every teacher in the school had a special gift hanging in their classroom made by me. And people would tell me, you're really talented. You're so artistic. You can start a website. You can make money off of that. And I'm thinking, no, I don't think I'm that good. I just want to do it to spread love. But here we are, fast forward 5 years later, I have turned my passion for spreading love into a money-making business.
Yes, you have. You really have. And the thing about it is, I love the fact that your pieces are, they're themed, but they're really one of a kind. Like, you really tap into that person, what they like, their colors, who they are as people when you create the artwork. So for me, I absolutely love it. It does something to me. It kind of gives me a little bit of yeah.
Yes.
And look, not only do you have the art company, you also have a podcast. Tell us about your podcast.
I have a podcast. My podcast is very sacred to my heart. My podcast is called Speaking of Love. The podcast was created in honor of my father, who was a radio TV broadcast engineer in the city of Detroit. He was an award-winning radio show host. He committed suicide on March 2nd of 2020. So I created the podcast in honor of my father, and my main goal is called Speaking of Love. My goal for the podcast is to spread love, to bring awareness, to bring hope. Suicide is a very devastating problem throughout the entire world. And my goal, my mission, my aim, and my purpose is to put an end to suicide. And I do the show every week in honor of my father. My father was a wonderful person, but he had struggles in his life, as most of us do. And I never saw this coming. And I've been left devastated, brokenhearted from his loss. But I have found a greater way to repurpose my pain. And doing my podcast every Saturday, it helps me with my grieving, because it's been less than a year. So I'm still struggling with his loss. But being able to go forward and talk to people all around the world about suicide and about spreading love definitely has been a help.
Oh yeah, and then it definitely aligns with your 9 to 5. So that's even greater, reach that you have in regards to changing lives and being that change agent and spreading that love so people can have on the inside. I have to tell you, your podcast is awesome. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely love it, because not only do you talk about real issues, but you also, the genius of your podcast is that you get to showcase and highlight people that are showing love, their missions of why they chose to spread love. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. And this is the thing, like, you've been doing a podcasting thing for a while, and I want to ask you, who was your most memorable guest on your show?
My most memorable guest, I would have to say it was a lady named Nicole. Nicole Tate was her name. She was the very first guest that I had on my show who had actually lost someone to suicide. Her husband committed suicide, and it hadn't been a year since his passing. And her interview was so raw and so emotional. And it was very therapeutic for both of us during that time. And what made her interview special is, when I decided to make my podcast, I wasn't sure if it would be received by people, if it would be well taken. Well, shortly after her interview with me, she sent me a private message, and she told me that because of my interview, she was able to relieve a lot of her stress and her worry and her fears about losing her husband. And she felt like the weight of the world had been lifted off her shoulder because she was able to talk about his death and heal herself in a way. So that, to me, is one of the most important interviews I've had. But then another interview I had was with one of my former students. I interviewed her. She's in college now, and she has gone on to write music. And she wrote a song and dedicated it to me during my podcast. So I cried all over her that day. So those are the most important ones.
So I want to ask you, on your podcast, Has someone ever reached out to you and say, well, hey, you changed my whole perspective of life just based off your podcast?
Not so much the perspective of life, but I've had several people reach out to me who were feeling suicidal and wanted to end their lives. And after watching my podcast, they've decided not to commit suicide. I've had those people reach out to me several times.
What has your podcast been to you, doing the podcast weekly? What does it mean to you to do that?
Oh, it means the world to me. It is such a sacred platform because I'm honoring my father. Like my dad was a wonderful person and he loved speaking in public. He was a radio TV broadcast engineer for over 30 years. He was never afraid to go out and speak on the microphone. So that podcast means the world to me because number one, I'm honoring someone that I love who's no longer with us. And in doing so, I can help other people, which is what he would want me to do. He wouldn't want me to cry and lay in bed. So the podcast is very important to me because without that podcast, I will probably need therapy right now or psychotropic medications.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you mentioned that, especially during right now, with the world dealing with, the COVID-19 pandemic. People are still dealing with job loss. A lot of families are currently in a position that, they never thought they would be in. So for people to have your podcast as being one of those out there where you talk about, suicide prevention, you talk about how to go out and be a part of the community and show love. I have to say thank you personally. I have to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Because I'm telling you, every time I pass my painting, I smile. Every time I see you go live, I smile. I'm like, okay, all right. Let's tell you, I got some people on here today. Let's see what they're talking about. And the thing about it is that you made a conscious decision to say, hey, I'm going to sprinkle love out here to each and every person that I meet, each and every person that view my show, those that tap in, those that tapped into your work. And we need more of that right now,
We do.
I think that is really, going to take off. But I want to know about your future plans. What are your future plans for your art creations and your podcast?
Well, for my art creations, I just started a subscription club. So every month, delivered to your front door, if you're a member of my club, you will get a box. And inside the box will be a door hanger, which, like the young lady I just showed you here, the wooden piece. Every box has a door hanger as the main feature. And then you'll get like 3 or 4 other items that coincide with the door hanger, and it's called the Sealed with Love Door Hanger Club. It's $40 a month. Every month you get a box delivered to your front door, and it has nothing but beautiful things that symbolize love that you can decorate your room or your home, your office with. So that's my future for my business. But for the future in terms of my podcast, I am in the process of writing a book about suicide awareness, and I'm dedicating the book to my father. I won't be making one dime off the book. I'm going to donate the money to the American Association for Suicide Prevention and Awareness, and that's my future plan. The book will be coming out very, very soon. I've kind of reached a stumbling block because writing the book has been emotionally difficult when I get to certain parts and then I go back and read it and I feel like I need to tweak this, I need to change something. So until it reaches my perfection, I'm not going to release it, but it is coming forward within the next few months.
Look, all I have to say, whatever tweaking you have to do to it, I know that it will be amazing because you're an amazing person. And you have a great, generous, and giving spirit, to each and every person that you meet. So you finish those edits. You do what you have to do because I'm excited to read it. I'm excited to tell, all of my listeners about it. I am totally excited about it. And I'm glad. And you know me, look, I just feel like when you have a story inside of you and you decide to put it on paper, that's a gift to everyone. Yeah. That's a gift to everyone. And I thank you for your bravery because a lot of people, they have a story inside of them and they don't know how to tell it, or they try to figure out ways they can do it. And you've done it through your podcasting, through your advocacy work, and now through a book. That's absolutely great. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Candace. Thank you.
Thank you. And I look, I can't wait to read it.
Well, thank you. Yes, it's coming forward. I just want to make sure that it's completely what I want before I release it. I don't want to release it in a rush and then go back later and think, wow, I should have done this, or I should have said that. So I just want to make sure it's right before I put it out there.
No, that's total look, I understand that, because the thing about it is that you're looking at it, you're like, okay, this is something that I am creating and I'm releasing it to the world. And so I totally understand you when you talk about the writing process. I get that. I totally get that right now. I get it. You know, what is some words of wisdom that you would give to someone right now that's, you know, tuning in, that maybe they want to become an entrepreneur, but they don't know how? You know, give them some words of wisdom and what they can do.
Okay, well, my words of wisdom for any person who's looking to start a business or entrepreneurship: don't focus on the money. Please never go into a business solely for the purpose of making money. No. Focus on your commitment to your craft. Do what you love, and the money will follow. When I started my business, I didn't even think about making money. It was all about spreading love. And in doing so, the money eventually came. So focus on your commitment to your craft. Find something that you're good at, that you love to do, and then it'll never feel like work, and the money will come easy and frequently. There's a quote that says, "No man is successful in business unless he loves his work." So never focus on the money. Focus on your commitment to your craft. Focus on doing what you love. And when you master that, the money will just come down like rain coming out of a tree.
Yes. Yes. I tell people all the time, if you build a business with community or creating impact in someone else's life, it will be that much more successful. I'm a true believer in that. Thank you for saying that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now back to the subscription box. How can people get that?
You can go to my website. My website is beautifultoy.net. That's beautifultoy.net. And as soon as you go there, you can sign up for it. It's $40 a month, and you will get a subscription box. In the box, there's a door hanger, which will be something like, for example, for Valentine's Day, I made a beautiful red Valentine's Day truck with glittered wheels. And then there were like 3 or 4 other Valentine's Day items in the box, and it was delivered to my subscribers' front door, and they can decorate their home, their living room, whatever space. And it's only $40 a month, and it's well worth it because everything is made by hand. I take my time. I make everything from scratch. I decorate it, and there's no obligation to stay forever. You can stay for a month. You can stay for 2 months, 3 months, but I'm going to work hard at making sure you stay a long time.
No, look, your work is impeccable. Look, not only do I want people to go and subscribe, I want you to share the greatness. Share this link. I'm going to make sure that I post this link, and also with, you know, LaToya's business card as well. So that way you can have all of the great information. Because the thing about it is, with people being entrepreneurs, you have to support entrepreneurs. You know, that one-time buy is great, but we definitely want people to go in and subscribe and, you know, do it their way. Share with the greatness, you know, share it. You know, look, Toya is all about love. So we want to get the love out there. We want people committed and people to know that greatness exists. I love it.
Yeah. And it helps me too. I have a daughter. My daughter is a pre-med student at the University of Michigan, and she's on the dean's list. I mean, she's just a phenomenal young lady. So when people purchase my subscription box, it helps me provide for my daughter's education. And she's just a wonderful child. And I want to make sure that I see her to the end of her college years being successful, not having to worry about working a job and trying to get her full hour, she's a full-time student. So I just want to be the best mom that I can for my daughter, because she is the best child in the world. I mean, she's on the dean's list for her whole college academic life. Like, she's a junior right now, and she just sent me an email today. She's on the dean's list again this year. So I just want to continue to help her. And when you all bless me and my business, you're helping me bless my daughter, and she's our future. She's going to be a doctor someday. So you're by helping me, you're investing in your future as well.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You give me all the chills, because people don't realize when you buy that product, when you get that service from a nonprofit, or a for-profit company, you're helping them support their family, support their dreams, and build something greater, build a greater empire for what their company and purpose to be. So yes, subscribe to that box. Look, subscribe to that box. That is a call to action. It most definitely is. Now, someone wants to be
Hanger Club.
Oh yeah. Look, I love it. You see me, I love it. And I did want to ask you, the future of your podcast. What if someone's watching right now and they do something that's great and phenomenal, and they do it from love? How can they get on your podcast?
Oh, if you'd like to be a part of my podcast, you can just reach out to me. I'm on Facebook under Speaking of Love, the podcast. If you go to my Facebook page, Speaking of Love, the podcast, send me a message and we can connect. And I would love to have you as a guest on my show. I would love that. Speaking of Love, the podcast.
Okay. And where else can they listen to past episodes?
Okay, all of my episodes are on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and type in Speaking of Love, the podcast, all my episodes are there. But I'm also on all major podcast platforms like Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, SoundCloud. So just type in Speaking of Love and you'll get them all.
And this is the thing. Go back and listen to those past episodes. When I say they are great, they're great. She's had some amazing guests. And this is a great thing about, doing what we do and showing and highlighting people. These are people that you wouldn't normally know are even there, that they exist and that they're doing this good in a community, in business. So this is the great thing about support, because in order for us to grow and blossom into greatness, we have to have support all the way around. Well, look, come on, Latoya, you got me for life. I am a lifelong supporter, and I want other people to get into the greatness. So hey guys, if you guys are tuning in, get that subscription box. Check out her podcast. It's amazing. And I know some people that are watching right now that should sign up to be guests, because I think they would be absolutely great on your show. So I want you to give some parting words, because I told you I wasn't going to keep you all night. I want you to give some parting words out there to someone that may be down. Maybe they don't know how to feel about certain things right now. Maybe they are going through life and they're like, okay, they need that sprinkling of love. So I want you to give them some of your love sprinkles out there so they can know that you care. I'm going to put you up on the screen.
Okay. Well, first I want to say I'm a big girl and I have big arms and I love to give hugs. So if you are going through something right now, life is beating you down, you feel like the world is against you, nobody loves you, let me take these big arms here, these big arms, and just wrap my arms around you and let you know that you are loved. You matter. The world is hard. Life is hard. But what we're going through today is not going to be this way forever. If you are having thoughts of suicide, if you're having thoughts of worthlessness, and you don't want to be here anymore, just know that those words are coming from a dark place. Those words are not real. You matter. And the best thing that you can do if you're feeling that way right now is get on the phone and talk to someone. Call the suicide awareness hotline. You don't have to be crazy to call them. There doesn't have to be something wrong with your mind. You're a human being. Every person in this world has struggled in some kind of way. The number is 1-800-273-TALK. Call that number, 1-800-273-TALK, and speak to someone. Let them know what you're going through. Talk about your problems. If you don't want to call the suicide awareness hotline, if you don't feel like it's that serious, you can call me. You can reach out to me on Facebook. You can reach out to me on my podcast. Let me know, and I can help you. We can talk. I can text you. I am here to support you, because let me tell you something. I might look happy today. I might have my lipstick on and my glasses, and I'm sitting here smiling. But let me tell you something. When you get a phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning that your father, who has been there in your life, your whole life, when you were born, when you had your first child, when you got married, when you get a phone call in the middle of the night telling you that your father has committed suicide, he's no longer in this world, he's gone, that will destroy a person's life. And let me tell you, it's been hard for me to go through this. And when a person commits suicide, you're only hurting the people who love you. My father is gone. He's sleeping in his grave right now. He doesn't know the nightmares that I have struggled with when I envision his last moments on earth with him putting a gun to his head and taking his life. So if you're thinking of doing something like this, please don't do it. Reach out and talk to someone. Get help. Don't be embarrassed. We all have struggles, because suicide only hurts the people who love you. 1-800-273-TALK. Call that number. Reach out to me. Reach out to Candace. She's a beautiful person. We're all here to help you. And tomorrow will be a better day. My father died on a Monday. I just wonder how Tuesday would have been for him if he had stayed around a little bit longer. I'm quite sure the day would have been better. And that's it.
Well, let me tell you something. Thank you. No, thank you. Because the thing about it is that with everything that you do, you show love. You sprinkle love. And even though you're still processing through that, and I know the book is a part of that process, you're still able to go out here and show love to every human being you meet. That is absolutely amazing. It speaks to your courage. It speaks to your strength. It speaks to everything that's inside of you. So I want to personally say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's a way of helping me stand strong. Without these outlets and without my artwork, without my podcast, without writing my book, I don't know where I would be right now, because I am plagued with a lot of hurt, a lot of guilt, from my father being gone and not being able to have those last moments, to know that he was struggling and suffering and I couldn't be there for him. It hurts me. There were times in my life when I wanted to jump off the ledge, and he was the one who told me, "What are you thinking about? You're beautiful. You're young. You have your whole life ahead of you, girl. What's wrong with you?" He would help me off the ledge. So to know that he took that avenue, it's hard. I never saw it coming. So I want to save other people.
Yes. And words of wisdom that I have is someone reaching out to you, do not ignore them. Do not ignore them. Sometimes people will show you signs, and sometimes you'll get no signs at all. So even if someone's out there and they're crying for help, and you think it's something where they're attention seeking, you never know. Just still reach out and be that person to pull them up and to get them help. Those are my words of wisdom in regards to that. But I have to say, Miss Latoya, you shine every day. Your heart beams every day, and it is seen around the world. And I am proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Candace. Thank you.
I am. So I want to say thank you for being my guest tonight. And, we're going to rebroadcast this again, because I want people to listen to your message and to get the great love offerings that you have. I want them to tap into that website, get that monthly subscription box, so that way every day you have that little sprinkling of love to know that you are cared for, and we are here to support you. Thank you so very much.
Love is the thing that makes all things beautiful.
Oh, I love that. Look,
That's not my original quote. That's from Barry White.
this is why we get along.
It's beautiful.
I love it. You know, look, you're gonna make me turn on some Barry White once I get through with this. Well, I want to say thank you for being my guest tonight. I really, really appreciate you. I really do.
Thank you, Candace. I bow to your excellence. Thank you for having me. You are an amazing person, and you are a phenomenal woman. And just keep up the good work. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.